you have to also admit that this meta have a lot of heroes, and this is what I like about the current meta. No matter how many heroes you ban, if you banned all the 5 since the start, still you will have heroes that you will not be able to deal with. So you need to focus more on the strategy, and this is what we are seeing in this tournament so far. The Brights, yes, there must be a solution, but the utility junglers is also an alternative for for Blacklist International. And Sensui is really good, as you said on the Nolan. Nolan was banned, so if you took the Nolan out and you gave it to Blacklist International, it will also be lethal. From anywhere I put it, Team Black or like Blacklist International team for me looks scary.
Yeah, I mean, we can see here the band's already kind of coming out there with 2 apiece. We do have the Framus being taken off, and the Arlot, who's become I want to say probably one of the most picked EXP laners right now in this competition. Blacklist wisely taking that off the board. Wondering if we're going to be seeing CC, especially because we saw it last game, but didn't really have such a great effect. On the side of RCC, we do see those mole assassins being taken off there, Nolan and Joy. So I'm wondering where we're going to go from here.
Well, banning two assassins from RCC means that they will continue, or like they will keep on pressuring Sensui. But again, there's a lot of heroes open, and one of them for sure is Matilda. If you didn't ban the Matilda out against the team that invented the utility junglers meta, or like the Obey, yeah, of course, the Matilda is banned from RCC, leaving a lot of picks though open, private. There's a lot of picks for Blacklist to choose from, but the good part here, like if you looked at the full half of the cup, RCC get to pick 2 of these OP picks that are still there laying on the table.
Yeah, and it depends on where they're going to want to go with here. They only get 1 pick here, so I'm wondering where. I mean, we still have the Barats open, and then of course there's the Gwen. We were talking a little bit before about some of the top picks not having the highest win rates for a lot of these heroes. Carrie being one of those. I think she said about 21. I think maybe about 22% now with Oheb's game there. But it really kind of tells you that it might be some of the players. It really takes some of those skilled players to be able to play some of these, especially Ruby, who wasn't having, I want to say, a 33% win rate right now, despite being one of the highest pickups in the games of the future. So, and that tells you, I mean, Edward, I mean, nobody's really going to be able to contest his ability in the XP lane. So, I mean, we know he's able to use it. We saw how successful he was in the early game. We just saw there. I think at one point he was about he had 4 kills and 0 deaths. So, I mean, it does have a huge factor, but maybe some of that micro ability, the mechanics that are needed aren't there with some of the players that it needs a special touch to be successful.
Well, looking at the Lilia, I can't help but to remember that team, or like the Fireflux Esport, were able to beat Blacklist International with it, especially with Rossa on it. But here, it seems like both these XP laners have switched things up. We will see that the Cecilia, or like Cici, in Arabic it's called Cecilia. Cici is being used by Blacklist International, and this is a switch up. Do you think that, or like, I think that Edward wants to win the lane again with the opposite here, which sounds like I'm not gonna say a statement, but proving himself, and he doesn't actually need to prove anything to us. Hadji with the Rafaela once again for Blacklist International. RCC, would you think that we will see a Barrett's?
I doubt it. I would be highly surprised if at this point RCC doesn't go with their 3rd pick and then ban the Barats, because that with how dominant it was in the last game. But you do, I want to say, you do have CC and Guinevere out there, so you've basically laid the claim of what your potential jungler and your potential XP laner are going to be. Do you need to ban Barats if you've already got out there? I mean, I don't even know where else he would go. You've got the marksman and the mage open, I mean, we saw Paquito mid lane earlier, so nothing is off the table. But I don't really know that Blacklist might be going with that same route for this. The big thing for me is, are we going to see Yui on that Nana, or is that going to get? Nope, they're going to go ban it. As I said that, Nana's banned out, so I guess not. But one shots, like we were talking before, Castle, very big on that Paquito use, very successful in his games yesterday on it, so gonna go with that comfort pick. However, we saw it just a match ago. Navaria picked up by Troublemaker, not as successful, even though it was a comfort pick for him. So they're probably leaning on Castle right now to see if he can maybe change things out here with this Paquito.
Blacklist International RCC in a game that can be the last game between both of them, and making it or like announce Blacklist International to proceed to the next stage as sweeping out their own group with 2-0 and 2-0. But RCC still have the chance to reply. They still have the chance to come back with this game, and their draft so far looks so decent to me. Having that chain of crowd control, having that slowdown effect from the Lilia, also making that team fight lasts long with having the Ruby, which I think she will be played as the rumor, not in the XP lane. So we will see who will claim the XP lane throne. But looking here, we didn't see a gold laner being picked from both these teams, and banning the carry makes Claude a lot tempting for RCC to take it out. But again, at some point, I don't believe anymore in the picks that looks too good to be true.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. Claude could come in there. I mean, especially it's very interesting here too, because Claude picked up by the side of Blacklist International could definitely shred down a lot of the back end here, because on the side of RCC, they're actually very squishy. They do take out the carry because they want to be able to support that front line with the Ruby without worrying about it getting shredded down. We're going to see how well that pays off when it comes to a lot of these fights. Ruby does take a little bit to get off, a little bit of time to get adjusted, because she does need some items, unless apparently your name is Edward, and then that means you just use it from the beginning with great success, the beginning of the game. I do believe this might be our first Clint of the games of the future. I don't believe we've seen him. Oh, no, this is our second time seeing him. He does have a 100% win rate. Currently, we're going to see if that changes here with the pickup by RCC.
Well, RCC taking the Clint, and too good to be true to use that Claude. But as you said, Blacklist International with this composition, having the Claude will serve their combination, like their formation really well, having the crowd control from the Guinevere, also from CC. So yeah, I think that the Claude makes a lot of sense here, but maybe we will see something else, especially because he's called the list. I was about to say the Filipino sniper. We might see Beatrix. So yeah, he did pull off that Beatrix, and one of the most annoying hero besides, yeah, I would put her beside Nana. We can see here that they have picked up the Aurora. Oh, they are adding more crowd control. RCC are playing on the sea.
Is that passive she has now? The I believe it's the Pride. Is it the Pride of the Ice? Passive. It's basically like a stock winter truncheon. So I mean, when you think you got her, when you think you're gonna be able to chase her down, get that kill, she's able to go ahead and freeze herself up and get health back. But ladies and gentlemen, this is gonna be game 2 of Blacklist International from the Philippines, taking on Royal Cyber Sport Club from Russia. We're gonna see if they are gonna be able to take this to a game 3.
Not jumping to any conclusions. All the teams start with 300 gold each, and also with 1 level up. So right now it's the best opportunity for Team Royal Cyber Sport Club to come back and to reverse this series and take a victory to their favor in the bot lane. Oh, look here, Kube is taking a lot of damage in the mid lane from Yue, also from Haji, who's able to slow down the master of slowdown effect which is the Lily, of course, and also Cupid. Both of them go back to the base just to recall, get some HP, get your mana back, and in the bot lane we might see a kill either from Sensui or even from One Shot.
Yeah, you see Edward doing a good job of kind of backing up One Shot, which allows Sensui to go in there, get that gold crab, and get the remnants there that fell down too. Wiser actually taking a heap of damage. Are they going to be able to dive in? Oh, a nice little, I want to say backlash there by Wiser. Traps Oheb in range of the tower, but just not enough to find the kill.
If he landed that second skill on the Beatrix while he's taking damage, we might have had a different story, but Haji was able to take the turret hits just to save his marksman, just to save his gold laner Oheb in the previous moment. Sensui now and everyone is being summoned to the turtle duties, and using the black shoes so quickly by Troublemaker will give it, or like will put RCC in a disadvantage in the upcoming turtle fight.
Just such a good job by Blacklist to take out some of these ultimates right before the turtle. One Shot uses his heavy spin, and then you see the black shoes out there. Now we're going to go ahead and engage on them. You can see One Shot taking some damage. Meanwhile, here, Sensui doing a good job. 10%, that's going to be it for the turtle. Great job by Blacklist to go ahead and force back RCC.
Yue in this match is, I would say it safely, the most annoying hero in the arsenal of Blacklist International. He's able to freeze out and to put down all the attempts from the side of RCC when it comes to team fights. He can literally disable any rotation that comes from the mid lane, especially from Troublemaker, who's not able so far in a matter of 3 minutes into the game to move from the mid lane. But look here at Castle and Edward in the EXP duel that's been waited from a lot of the fans, and so far Edward is the one who is winning, and it seems like boxing is not the solution for RCC.
And it does look like Edward's going to try to drag some of these minions back so that he has, he's going to be able to zone out the rest Castle there. But we do have a big heavy spin that does a land. Wiser able to find a kill onto Haji, and a big pop-up spatial migration lands on the Wiser. The rest of the team, RCC there to try to help out. Troublemaker finds a kill onto Sensui. Oheb finds the kill onto Kupi, and so they do have an answer back. Oh, actually, One Shot can continue on this fight, but Yui is there to provide the support for his teammate, and that is going to even out the score.
That was the first time that we see the mage defending his own roamer, and it didn't turn out so successful yet. The evened equation by joining, or like by Oheb joining the team fight and taking and using that rocket launcher to take the kill by the help of Sensui. Sensui goes down for the first time in this game, and RCC are looking good and actually so much better than the previous game. They are playing a little bit more aggressive, maybe even so much more aggressive. Haji on the gold lane once again helping his own gold laner, and Cupid is doing the same. He's mirroring the moves that Haji is actually applying when it comes to helping that gold lane to come through. Heavy spin might be activated by One Shot to go in and contest for this turtle, but it seems like he's so far, and it's gonna be a really easy turtle for Sensui and Blacklist International.
Yeah, they scooped it up pretty, they didn't even have a contention there from RCC, who's busy trying to take their buffs right now. You can see here now there's a little bit of a focus up at the top. Haji trying to get good positioning, trying to zone them out.
Look at Yui
hiding in the bush. He might be looking for some freeze. Oh, he shows himself, but not able to find the freeze. Meanwhile, at the bottom, Castle doing some great things with that Paquito, able to get the first tower of the game.
Maybe I take it back. Maybe boxing was the solution. He gets the turret from Edward for the first time in those 2 games. He wins the laning phase, moving freely. Yes, he did move freely, Edward, but the person who was able to add 1 assist and also a turret was Castle.
Oh, you see there, Yue is going to be able to get out of that Sensui backing off as well there. So I want to say a little bit better grouping here by RCC, especially to be able to fend off a lot of these. It's only 2-2 right now, so it's not as dominant for the side. Ooh, actually tried to go in there for a spatial migration, but Kupi actually able to fend it off. So they're doing all right now. The big question though is as we start moving into the mid game, as those heals and that speed up from Haji become a little bit more, will our RC be able to keep up with it?
There's a lot of R's. You have casted RQ and RCC, so it's totally understandable. RCC right now are trying to grow, and you were totally correct when you said, oh, look at here, this is also totally correct.
Spatial migration lands Ohead putting the finishing touches. That is one Kupi down for the top lane. You can see Wiser trying to fend it off. One shot there, providing the support, just not even doing much, but just showing them that he is there. Yue in a little bit of trouble, does throw down an ability. Castle's gonna have to back up.
Yue, again and again, is the one to apply a tremendous amount of crowd control here, using his yo-yo as oh, look at this damage. It's nasty from Edward to take half HP of the jungler himself. So, oh my god.
Big heavy spin lands on the Edward, but the spatial migration comes in. Troublemakers gonna have to use those black shoes to get out. Big stun coming out. Is that gonna be enough? We do have 10%. Is this Lord gonna be taken? Sensui finds the Lord. Be trying to run away, gonna go ahead and slow them down. Is not gonna be enough. Spatial migration into the Violet Requiem. Oheb puts the finishing touches, and that is a man down for our RCC. 4-2 in favor of Blacklist International.
Edward, did you see those hits? Did you see? Look at Wiser. He knew that there's trouble coming his way. He recalled instantly. 4 men in the bush for Blacklist International, applying a lot of pressure. But in this game, the ones who are applying so much pressure are RCC. RCC so far are able to make that Clint go through the game with a 1-0-1. In terms of the KDA, right now there's a camp in the bush, and Blacklist International might just want Wiser.
Yeah, we're going to see here as they go ahead and continue. Wiser takes a heap of the damage. Kupi might be down as well. Great zoning out there. And we were just talking about that. The Frigid Glacier coming out from the Aurora. More than enough to back up RCC and give the space they needed to be able to take down that top tower for Blacklist.
I think I cursed Wiser once I spoke about him, and look at this damage with a 1 and a second bunch and a right hook with the damage from Castle was really good on Haji, but again with the Flask of the Oasis he's able to restore most of his HP, if not all of his HP. 30 seconds are what it is the time that we will be waiting for to see the upcoming Lord in the mid lane trying to clear things out, and it seems like the Filipino sniper has summoned his own sniper, and we might see some shots from now and on. But Wiser, on the other hand, is getting a lot of great farm, and look at here, each time disabling and neglecting the danger that Blacklist International force when it comes to their movement. And here, this is the first time that we will see RCC are actually camping and waiting for Blacklist International to fall into their hands.
Ooh, we do see an I'm offended up at the top. The rest of the Blacklist International can go ahead and close in. Heavy spin from the side, but not able to get anything from it. Oh, big Violet Requiem lands onto Castle, who gets taken down by Ohead. As we were seeing there, I mean, we were just taking a look at some of the items there. A BOD and Malefic Roar all ready for Ohead. And his matching Wiser only has the Endless Battle right now. That's just such a lead for Blacklist, especially when it comes to the marksmen who have such a pivotal role when it comes to this mid and late game damage.
When it comes to this solo attempt from the Akai, he just decides to withdraw and go back and farm his own jungle. The first Lord of this game, it's not an enhanced Lord, neither an evolved one, but indeed it's gonna be a dangerous one since Blacklist International want to start pushing, and right now is the perfect moment for them to do so. Look at here in the bot lane, oh my god, but look at the mid lane as well.
Yeah, one shot with the heavy spin does land on, but none of the rest of his team is in a position to be able to capitalize on it. And that is unfortunate. That's things you need to consider. Ooh, Sensui, actually. A little bit of hellos coming from both of them there. And you can see them trying to deal with this Lord up at top. Meanwhile, Oheb on the other side of the map is able to find and bring down a tower. Right now, this game has been all Oheb. 5, 0, and 1. There needs to be an answer. Spatial migration lands. Koopy in trouble, trying to dash himself away. There comes the Frigid Glacier, able to freeze them down. Oheb finds a kill, or is able to take down the tower while the rest of his team is zoning them out. Edward finds a kill. The one down for the side of RCC, while the rest of Blacklist gonna go ahead, back up, and set their sights possibly on this mid tower.
Even though Kube have used his I am offended in a perfect way, he brought a disaster between his team using the vengeance from Edward and also spreading those yo-yos and getting a lot and a decent amount of damage, was able to take him down, also taking the second turret down, and now looking to take the game layer by layer. Blacklist International are back into their having their momentum with their own base, forcing it, but RCC can break that chain at any moment since they are not far in the game.
Oh, big spatial migration and the Violet Requiem. Oheb again finds the kill. While the background, you can see that Yue puts the final touches onto that tower. Blacklist International just having a way with this dominance. They're not even that far ahead. I want to say about 5k gold ahead at the 12-minute mark, but they are taking it for all it's worth with this such a dominating push into the side of RCC.
Looking at the items, I can just see just one anti-heal item, which is the dominance eyes from the Bakiro. So far there's no one to actually stop the healing, if almost no one to stop the healing effect coming from Haji. So he is just having fun with all of his healing prayers. But look at Sensui with a 100% participation when it comes to team fights, with a 7k or a 4 or a 6k for a gold lead. The conceal is being used right now, and it's used right here in the top lane, but then comes a withdraw from RCC. Troublemaker looks like he is the one in trouble.
Yeah, they actually might. Koopy actually might be in a little bit of trouble. Heavy spin comes out to try to separate them. Sensui finds the kill. There comes Frigid Glacier again. Edward finds a kill. Wiser able to set up a little bit of defense. They do lose one. Blacklist International takes that death and does decide to step back just a little bit. You can see here from the replay, Koopy in a little bit of trouble here. Gets split up from his teammate, slowed down. You're gonna see the Frigid Glacier comes out as the team tries to support him.
Even though,
Yeah, you see Edward in a little bit of trouble, does activate that vengeance. From the side, you can see Yue doing a great job setting down suppressive fire to back up the rest of RCC. Lord, Oheb, what? Finds the kill and puts to rest Castle at the bottom lane in that bush right away. And this might be the set that they were looking for Blacklist to be able to take this Lord.
what was that damage? Oheb just with 2 shots was able to take Castle down, and now they are forcing their way into the Lord pit.
Yeah, they actually do find a kill onto Edward. You can see they're frozen. Wiser gets taken down as well, and the one-shot Troublemaker, and it does look like Koopy are gonna have to disengage. This is gonna be a next Lord for the side of Blacklist.
Even though Sensui was dead, even though Sensui had like almost 30 seconds for him to come back into the Land of Dawn, and with the power of having the most numbers when it comes to team fight, RCC didn't force in a team fight. And I think that this is, and the reason behind this is that they don't believe that they have the amount of damage enough. Anyways, Troublemaker back there in the top lane, when he was trying to escape, and he did manage to escape, and for me, it was so unreasonable, because Troublemaker so far didn't die for even one time. So focusing Kube looks like it was the priority for Blacklist International. But anyways, it seems like they want him to be even weaker when it comes to the defending phase, and the Troublemaker is not causing them enough trouble. The Lord is marching from the top lane, and CC is trying to take all the waves on the opposite side of the map, synchronizing all the waves, making a perfect synchronized ending phase, they might just finish this game with the second Lord and the first of its type, the Enhanced Lord.
Yeah, right now, I mean, OHEB is about 4K above the highest member of RCC.
Wow.
And that's just telling something. We do have the Luminous Lord coming in, crashing up at the top. A desperate sense falling over RCC, who does need to defend this push. You see Lord already at the core right now,
wow,
as they are starting to get their, I want to say their objectives a little bit spread thin here. Blacklist focusing down on the bottom and mid. Only 2 high grounds left for RCC. Castle goes in, puts some damage on, but it's not going to be enough as Sensui right there to come in with the spatial migration, back him off, and we are going to be at a little bit of a standstill here. Oh, Koopy does find a little bit on the Edward, does activate that vengeance. He might be in a little bit in trouble. There comes Aji. Big spatial migration lands. OHEB again finds the kill onto Castle. Yui finds the kill of his own. They are chasing them down. OHEB in a little bit of trouble, right in the front. He's no fear from him as he is standing in front lines, taking down RCC member after RCC member. You can see Edward standing in the front with Sui. They are trying to end this now at the 17-minute mark. Edward at the bottom, taking off the minions from the bottom tower. Are they gonna be able to close this? You can see Koopy at the front line here trying to fend off Assault. Minions coming from the top. Big spatial migration into a Violet Requiem lands. That might be it. Immortality has been activated for Sensui, and it looks like Blacklist gonna go ahead, use that, and back up.
RCC, after seeing a fearless engage from Blacklist International, gets another opportunity to breathe and to continue witnessing this game in the Land of Dawn. RCC in a really bad position right now with only 1 inhibitor to it. Look at OHEB. He knows that he can trust Haji to bring him back and to bring him home, and also to protect him every and each time using 2 flickers forward from Blacklist International in the previous team fight without any fear whatsoever, depending on your teammates and knowing that they will do their best to make you go back or even to make your play perfect. Blacklist International right now looking for this Lord. It's an enhanced Lord, even though it's an 18 minutes, they will reset it. Now it's an evolved Lord and they will try to proceed with it. But do you think that they want the Lord or the team fight private?
If you're Blacklist International, you obviously want the team fight. You can see them baiting out the Lord, pushing it out, trying to reset it. RCC is in an unfortunate spot here right now where they cannot let the Lord go free. They also just don't have, they're 10K behind. They do not have team fight either. They are relying on luck. They're relying on Blacklist to make a mistake. But you're talking about a team that is a former world champion, so they know what it takes. They know what is at stake, and they know where to fight and where they have the advantage. Oh, you can see another spatial migration lands with the Violet Requiem out. Heavy Spin is out as well to try to protect the team. Actually doing very well. RCC does not take any deaths just yet.
We are almost in the late game where everyone will have their own items. So right now it mostly depends on the strategy, and I think that RCC are trying to attempt to take that Lord. They are trying to even go for the team fight. They might actually respond to what Blacklist International want them to do, and Troublemaker will go back to the defense, or like, here he goes. Castle goes back to the defense duties, and now Blacklist International knows that they are either 5v4 or 5v3, so they might go for the Lord, but they must be careful because RCC are looking at them. RCC are there in the bushes. They do have the damage. They do have the engage, but do they have the perfect execution?
Well, they do know that Keto is down at the bottom, so they're going to go ahead and be a little bit more aggressive than they were before. You can see a big pop-up lands from the Lord. Edward actually gets taken down very low. Does have that immortality in stock. Oh, actually, they're able to push back. Blacklist, is that going to be enough? Sensu misses the spatial migration. Lord is at down to about 1/3 health. One shot, doing what he can. To Heavy Spin is out. OHEB able to find a kill. That Lord goes over to Sensui. Blacklist still able to find the retribution and another kill onto OHEB.
Ladies and gentlemen, a world-class team fight. Look at Yue trying to finish things up, and the first and the second game goes to Team BLACKLIST International.
Yeah, just the finishing touches there. A very dominating game. And I want to put a shout out to Sensui. It it almost seems like Oheb took it personally that Sensui got the MVP in the last match and wants to make sure that this time he makes a full of that healing strategy that BLACKLIST is known for. We're going to be taking here right back to some of the highlights here. You can see just a lot of the pressure already from the opening minutes. And then the CC that comes out. We're going to see the spatial migrations that come out as we start moving on later and later. Here comes the Violet Requiem, and then allowing Oheb to get those early kills. Every single time you saw a spatial migration come out, there was another Oheb kill. As you can see here, misses that one because of the CC. Oheb finds another kill. It's just, there was all these opportunities, and I want to say that is just the restraint and what you get from a team like BLACKLIST there to allow your marksman to get fed like that. There was a plan in mind, and it does matter who gets the kills when it comes to such a dominating performance by BLACKLIST.
When it comes to the objective, sometimes things looked a little bit messy. This is the time I told you they left and they forgave Troublemaker and they let him slide and go back. But looking like going through the game and during the game itself, we have seen a lot much more aggressive gameplay coming from the side of RCC.
Yeah, I mean, they put up a heck of a struggle in the early moments of early minutes of the game, able to hold it down in the early game. But I mean, eventually, just the preciseness of the attack from BLACKLIST, the ability for them to be able to kind of come in, allow those kills to get stacked on to Oheb, it just really started to pay dividends. And unfortunately, there wasn't much that RCC was going to be able to do.
Yep, that's true. They weren't able to do a lot at a certain point, but there is something that I want to discuss with you private. Do you, and this is something I see from my own perspective. I know that I said a lot from my own perspective today, but when you looked at it, when we saw, not just you, when we saw the late game and BLACKLIST International looking a little bit weaker than they are used to look like, I think that against top tier teams, the only thing that you can force them to do, or like the only thing that you can apply upon them to hit them while they are weak or like in their vulnerable spots, is that you make the game long enough that one mistake from this S tier team or like from this big team appears, and once that mistake appears in the late game, it's your time to shine. And also it was Oheb's time to shine, as you said.
Yeah, you see there the MVP 11-0-5. Not just Oheb, but a team effort. You could even see that there were some points that Sensui, during those highlights, he would get the Violet Requiem, he would get, and then he would back up. He would back up with the enemy having just a little bit of health because he knew Oheb needed to come in there, clean up, and you could see here 26% of the damage going out there. And this is the remarkable thing. An amazing amount of damage, not just from him, but from Edward. 24% and 28% onto UA as well, but still not stealing or snaking any kills from Oheb. And it just kind of showed like this is just one of those like just very textbook type of strategies, like kind of shades of like M3, where it was 1-3-1, where you were just giving all the kills and XP and gold to one person. But here you can see BLACKLIST doing a great job making sure to keep those reins in on Oheb to set off. And man, what a dominating performance. Unfortunately, at the expense of RCC, who had, like I said, a decent game in the early bit. You can see 42%.
Yeah, for sure.
Troublemaker had doing, this is what we were seeing before. Not a bad job. The players were doing great, had an immense amount of damage. But when you match up that damage against the fact that Haji here on a healer, able to sustain BLACKLIST, to keep